Now that we've learned how to add fractions, we'll go through and do some fraction subtraction. It's more or less the same in the beginning. If we look at 1/2 minus 1/3, we still need to come up with a common denominator. In this case, that denominator is going to be 6. So the first step is the same. We also need to figure out the new numerators in the same way that we did before. 2 needs to get multiplied by 3 to become 6. So then the numerator also needs to be multiplied by 3. 1 times 3 gives us 3. In the other fraction, the denominator 3 needs to be multiplied by 2 to get 6. So the numerator needs to be multiplied by 2 as well. 1 times 2 is 2. So far, it's exactly the same. It's the last step where we have something different. Now, because it's a subtraction problem, we need to subtract the numerators instead of adding them. So in this case, we have 3 minus 2, which gives us 1/6. Everything is basically the same except the end, where we subtract the numerators instead of adding them. We can also have problems that have multiple negatives in them, so we have to be careful there. Let's look at a few more examples to get some practice. -1/6 minus 2/9. First, we need to find an LCD. If we look at multiples of 6, we've got 6, 12, 18, and we recognize 18 is a multiple of 9. So we're going to rewrite this. We've got that negative in front of the first fraction, so we're going to have negative some number of 18ths minus some other number of 18ths. And again, we've got to figure out what the new numerators are going to be. Let's look at -1/6. To get from 6 to 18, we need to multiply by 3. So we're also going to have to multiply the numerator by 3. 1 times 3 is 3. So -1/6 becomes -3/18. Then for the second fraction, 2/9. To get from 9 to 18, we need to multiply 9 by 2. So we also have to multiply the numerator by 2. 2 times 2 is 4. So 2/9 becomes 4/18. So our new problem is -3/18 minus 4/18. To get our final answer, we keep that common denominator, but when we're subtracting the numerators, we have to recognize that this one is negative. So we're going to have -3 minus 4, which gives us -7. Right? Those two have the same sign. They're both negative, so we take the sum. 3 plus 4 is 7, and it's going to be negative because the larger one was negative. So we end up with -7/18 for our final answer. Let's do one more problem now. Let's look at -5/4 minus -7/18. First, we have to remember that when we're subtracting a negative, it's the same thing as adding. So we can rewrite this as -5/4 plus 7/18. Now that we've done this, we need a common denominator. If we look at multiples of 4, it's going to take a while to get a multiple of 18, but we can do it. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36 is a multiple of 18. It's 18 times 2. You don't have to list all of the multiples if you get a little bit of practice looking at them and thinking about what the LCD might be. I would look at these two numbers and I would say, well, 18 is not a multiple of 4, but if I double it, 36 is. You can usually, with a little bit of practice, find the right answer just by inspecting what's going on and a little bit of practice. So I'm going to rewrite this negative some number of 36ths plus another number of 36ths. We've got to figure out what the numerator is. Let's look at -5/4. To get from 4 to 36, we have to multiply by 9. So we're also going to have to multiply the numerator by 9. 5 times 9 is 45. So this is going to be negative 45/36. Then let's look at the other one. To get from 18 to 36, we need to multiply by 2. So in the top, 7 times 2 gives us 14. So we've got negative 45/36 plus 14/36. Now we keep the common denominator, and here we are adding the numerators. We've got negative 45 plus 14. That might be a little bit challenging for you to do in your head, so you can do it off to the side. Negative 45 plus 14. These two numbers have different signs, so we need to take the difference. 45 minus 14, that gives us 11. And because the larger number was negative, our answer is going to be negative 11. And so we end up with negative 11/36 as our final answer. As always, you can click on the link below this video to see more videos of worked out examples if you feel like you aren't quite ready to do the homework yet.